All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. We are taking a look at the major markets, focusing here on NASDAQ and QQQ. Look, clearly my videos are all about technicals. I rarely talk about news or fundamentals or anything like that, but definitely going to take a couple minutes to talk about Silicon Valley Bank, okay? I live in California. I'll be honest, I've never heard of this bank until the last couple days. I think that's the case for most people if I had to guess, all right? The reason it's a big thing is two things, right? First off, a bank failure is no joke. All right. It's obviously not like a domino collapse like we kind of saw before, right? Where all the major lenders kind of did the same thing and it was bad. It seems like these people got a little greedy, made some investments that didn't go well, and then very quickly everyone kind of said, take your money out real quick, right? So that's basically the core of what happened. The other thing that's really important and why I'm actually going to talk about it on this video, look, this thing was the number 16 bank like in the nation, but it was the number 1 tech startup bank. All right. NASDAQ is very, very much driven by tech, and it takes startups to make NASDAQ become what it is, right? And a lot of these companies had their payroll in this bank and they're not getting that thing back. Or they're only getting like 250,000, which is all the FDIC will insure, right? So if you had millions, you're seeing only $250,000 back, maybe, and that's from the government, which definitely means it's going to take a bit before you get a check, right? So there's so many factors that are happening here. I'm not here to pretend I know them all. I'm honestly like looking stuff up as the days go on. It's actually pretty fascinating to me. I'll be really, really honest with you. But there is a lot that's going to happen with tech because of it. And look, I'm about to get into the technicals. I've said if we stay over the 200, we're day-to-day bullish. We've lost it and now confirmed, right? So with that, we'll transition into the technicals. And before we do, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see things are setting up. We have our 5 moving averages. There's only 2 here, and I've held these 2 since I've started making these videos back almost a year ago, but we only have 2 support and resistance lines that we keep bouncing between, right? And then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please like and subscribe, it does really well with the YouTube algorithms. And even if you don't, just thank you so much for watching these, okay? And then if you disagree with anything, or hey, if you have better info about the Silicon Valley Bank stuff, throw it in the comments, please. I would actually really appreciate both. Sometimes better opinions come, and I'm wrong sometimes, right? I'm not perfect. No one is. So I would really appreciate both. Okay, let's get into the technicals. And really, I hope while I was saying my Silicon Valley stuff, the technicals were just jumping out at you because you've been watching my videos a lot, right? And what's sad is this is bad and this is bad, and that's never a good thing. But we'll start up here because this is what matters most, okay? I zoomed in too much. We've made a beautiful run. I sincerely hope everyone made good money in January and banked it, because I talk about it on stocks a lot, and I'm going to say it right here. This green with a couple insignificant reds might very quickly turn into red, especially if we lose the death line. You know what I mean? So things are definitely looking scary. Look, I've said it on the last, I know I've said it at least since here onward, right? But if we stay over the 200, we're day-to-day bullish, okay? Why? Because we're on the daily, we're day-to-day. On the weekly, we're nowhere near over it, right? We're nowhere near week-to-week bullish. But day-to-day, we were doing much better here than any of this noise when we were under it, right? So it was nice, it was. However, we've first off been trading under the 8 for a really long time, only a couple days above it, but clearly never got over the 20, right? From there, one big bad candle lost 2 moving averages, and that right there is a confirmation candle for a multiple moving average breaker, right? I say it often normally on the other way. If you break 2 up, I need to see something like that. We legit saw 2 and a good confirmation candle. Did we lose the 100? We're like $2 over the 100. You see that we closed at 138 at top, and then the blue number is 136. So we're a couple dollars over, but let's be honest. Do you think that's going to hold? Do you think that this last moving average is going to be strong enough to bounce it up? Even if we get a bounce, do you actually believe that the bounce is going to be strong enough to break the next 4 moving averages above? I know you know I'm thinking no, right? That's a bad MACD that's now slipped into the negative. It did its best to stay positive for a while I was riding this 200. RSI is definitely not that good at all. For sure, this is 30. For sure, you know I say 30 is really low and it should bounce up. But let me zoom out a bit. I can't, like, where's this? September's far, don't get me wrong. But in September, we were at 13. All right, let's go back even a little more. What was this one? Get out of here. At 13, what? Oh, sorry. I was looking here instead of here. My apologies. Yeah, 13 was definitely the lowest we've seen. What are you? 16 right here. What are you? 22-ish. Okay, there's reasons to believe we'll come back to this. All right, because that's a pretty devastating drop out of all the moving averages. And honestly, I always say it could be it's like a tornado. When you're in all 5, you'll either violently fall up or down. And honestly, it seems like we're violently falling down. Okay, this 1084 has been our death line. The only 2 lines we've been tracking since I made the video starting right here. I'm telling you, we either break this and fly, or we lose this and die. And we've come close a couple times to losing it, but we never died. We at least held 10. Honestly, I don't know if we're holding 10. And I know I'm being a little extra bearish right now, but this Silicon Valley failure, I don't think is a joke. Honestly. And Yellen today, I know maybe it happened yesterday, I don't know when, but she definitely said we're not bailing them out. You know what I mean? Like there's no check coming from the government. And look at this. 1 week, in 1 weekly candle, we lost all 5 moving averages. Do you want to see that confirmation next week? Where's Friday might end here for us to confirm 5 moving averages on a come on now. Things look scary here. And you know I'm not here to beat the gloom and doom draw. Like, that's not me. I don't get my views by scaring people, right? I'm genuinely just, this is bad. Look, we have went from maybe breaking the 8 on the monthly to actually now losing the 50 and losing the 8. And again, it just seems like we're coming down. It seems like 10,000's for real here, okay? So I'm not going to beat the drum too much more. Let's just look at QQQ. Interesting, QQQ is not as far down on the daily. Interesting. It definitely lost the 50 and the 200. I don't know if it's going to, come down here as a confirmation, right? But, excuse me, I'm surprised it didn't lose and confirm. That's for sure. Again, not as bad on the weekly. We didn't lose all 5. Interesting. I'm surprised that they're not actually doing the exact same thing. Does that change my view a little bit? I don't think so. I just think QQQ is a little laggy, and I'm honestly not too sure why. Because look, that volume right there, I know is not what NASDAQ look like. Yeah, there's definitely a little bit more red here too. Interesting. I'm really surprised QQQ doesn't line up as well. Again, I don't think it's opposite enough for me to be like, oh wow, QQQ looks good. Maybe NASDAQ isn't going to fall. Nah, I just think this is lagging for whatever reason. And I'm not here to pretend I know the reason. But yeah, I am very, very pessimistic here. And look, normally a bank failure and a bank collapse would hurt the Dow a little bit more, in my opinion. This is a tech failure, and I don't believe Dow is not going to do well while these do bad. But yeah, I think more hurt is going to happen here. So be careful if your money is in tech, for sure. Hey, I appreciate your time. If you disagree with anything I got to say, please throw it in the comments. Otherwise, you know more videos are coming.